my name's Ezra Subaru, and today I'm here with Fabrizio Federico, the director of Pregnant, who will be screening his film at CULTivate on the 31st of January. I came across your stuff online, and then obviously you sent me the DVD. I had a good old watch of it. I found it quite an interesting watch, because I had an inclination it was about life, death and everything beyond. Yeah. When I got the title, and initially what I wanted to ask you in regards to the film, and then obviously we'll talk like a little more later on about what brought you into making film, but initially about the film, what brought you around to coming upon this subject of the whole idea of looking at it from birth to death, i.e.
technology addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, technology addiction is a new phenomenon, which a lot of people haven't kind of like caught on to. Mm-hmm. Like at the moment, there's one hospital at the moment in London who are treating people with technology addiction. So, you know, if you're on Facebook 24/7, you're constantly looking at your phone, Twitter, you know, you might be a technology addict. But, you know, I just kind of wanted it. I think it's the zeitgeist at the moment. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I mean, technology is such a new thing, especially the internet. It's like an alien life form that we don't know what's going to do to our children or to ourselves or to our minds. You know, we're going to be living on the internet. So, yeah, and I don't know, I like the whole sex and death trip that goes on in the film as well. It's surreal, you know, I like that.
There was definitely an inclination of solitude.
Yeah,
there was a lot of strong referencing towards solitude. Even a misanthropic Buddhist who seems to kind of hate everybody.
Yeah.
And you know,
bit of a kick in the teeth, isn't it?
It's quite ironic that she wanted to go into Buddhism to learn how to interact with others, and then she ended up hating people more. Yeah,
it's true though. It's true. We are becoming more isolated. Yeah. You know, even the way we communicate. You don't even speak, do you? It's all, it's all tap. It's, yeah. I think the whole thing with Pregnant is it's going to be ahead of its time. You know, in 20 years, because I was born in '83, so I know what it was like. I'm come from a generation where I know what it's like without the internet. So and I'm sure you're the same. You know, I can communicate with people on a different wavelength. But young children and even this new teenage generation, they don't know any different. Yeah. So I kind of wanted to mix and match. You know, it's got the good sides. It shows like the happy aspects of not being on the internet. You know, like the life that's out there. I mean, sex, you know, people are missing out on all these beautiful things.
But we also show that could also be the gratification of sex could be sort of like done via the internet. You don't really need a partner anymore.
It's not the same.
You can just Google it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah. You know, I've heard of like families, you know, people that are married to one another, and the woman's got a husband in Australia, and she considers him or husband, but she only chats
him online.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's it's an octopus really. You know,
it's got so many facets, and I think that's what it is though. It's because the world's actually been sort of like shrunk massively because of the internet, but so have our own personal worlds been shrunk because of the internet, because we can get everything we want from this one screen in front of us. You don't just buy a newspaper anymore. You don't have to watch TV. It's online. We don't have to chat one-to-one anymore, because we can go online and we can chat. We can WhatsApp. We can Facebook chat. We can Snapchat. We can do everything online. Yeah. We can tweet. We don't have to have a conversation we don't have to have a physical conversation anymore.
Yeah, completely. And brainwashing us so easily these days. I mean, you're looking at all the assassinations that are happening and the terror. I mean, that's like an internet war, really. You know, it's just rhetoric. It's not even. It's just, I don't know. It's tough to put into words because it's such a new thing at the same time. But we live in such a fucked up world that the films that I'm going to make are going to. I like tackling society and seeing what's happening in society and bringing bringing a certain vibe from society into the film, but also including like human aspects, like, I don't know, just seeing the stupid things that people say.
What I found interesting was the young boy whose mother had left the family home when he was 8. I think he said he was 8. And he was very, very angry. And he was very, very misogynistic for one so young.
Yeah.
And you have to ask yourself, his only outlet was sport. There was no other outlet. And I think that was kind of an example. Was it meant to be an example of what can happen if you don't actually talk to others about your feelings?
Yeah, of course. Talk to your kids, talk to your family members,
Yeah.
express yourself. Because it's when you express yourself in a text message, I know I've done it, and I'm sure you've done it. If you have a conversation with someone, they'll take offence to something that you didn't mean to be offensive, you know, because they can't hear your tone of voice.
Yeah.
So things like that go out the window, you know, when it comes to a one-on-one situation. And I know for a fact parents aren't talking to the kids. They're talking to the kids even less.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you hear about all these people that are getting, you know, converted to ISIS and stuff like that. They're so young, you know, to want to be fighting, you know, and it just makes me wonder what the parents are doing, because I'm not a parent, but I want to be a parent, and I'm hoping that I don't make these mistakes where kids are just going to go off the loose end, because they grow up too fast. That's kind of what I want to get across. Kids are growing up too fast. They're missing out on the simple things of life, and I think the world needs to slow the fuck down. a lot down. I mean, I shot this film in Spain, in this commune called Sunseed. No internet, life was slow, life was chilled out. It was like hippie love, you know. People were taking LSD and stuff like that, and life was beautiful without the internet. I remember those days, you know. So
there was reference to that in the film about the whole idea of using drugs to kind of like open your subconsciousness.
Yeah, not to become a junkie.
No, but just open your subconsciousness. Yeah. I mean, there is a difference. I think a lot of people tend to misunderstand what it is to take psychotropic drugs or psychoactive drugs, and just think it is all about addiction, and it is all these pure allergies you've been fussed at by the Daily Mail, and don't realise that there are other levels to why some people take drugs, and it's not always going to be an addictive.
No,
there's not always going to be an addictive aspect behind it.
Yeah, unless if you're an addicted personality, you're going to get addicted to anything.
As I say, if you've got addictive personality, then you know, stay away, because you are going to get addicted to it. Yeah. But sometimes you can go in and out.
Yeah, if you're a strong person, you can take it. If you're a strong person, you can take it. If you've got problems, you know, don't take.
It's not a good idea.
Yeah, know your limitations and stuff like that. But if you want to open up like doors of perception and things like that, because the world's got layers, and a lot of people, it's invisible layers there, and a lot of people don't. They're scared to even talk about things like that. Like you can talk about like this, not religious spiritual aspects, but the spirituality and like nature and I don't know, like the shamans. You know, shamans used to take all these types of drugs and kind of bring everyone on a trip and stuff like that, and open their eyes up to this type of invisible energy. You know, that's happening, and that's I want my film. My films are trips. You know, they're made for like films like Easy Rider or Space Oddity. You know, people would take LSD and smoke weed, and they'd go to watch these films, and they'd take something away from it. Yeah. You know, that's the kind of cinema I'm into, like that dark underbelly cinema.
Yeah, well, that's what I think there is a collective of filmmakers around our age group now that are wanting to make those type of films. Where the narrative isn't as structured, a non-linear narrative where it's open to expression. Yeah.
Non-linear is the best form, I think.
And I think that's kind of also attracting a younger, i.e. first, second year film students now, are asking themselves, you know, what do we really want from the films that we are ingesting ourselves? Do we want these frat boy rom-com relevant.
Yeah, I mean, they got their place, you know. They got their place, like on a
political, thriller. They're all genres.
Yeah.
You know, do we want to be constantly bombarded by genres, and then create genres ourselves, or do we want to do something different? Do we want to do something new? Do we want to do something actually ask questions?
Oh yeah, don't waste time in university. You know, you don't need to spend all that money on university and time as well. You know, I mean, we've only got so much time. You know, just get out there and start making it on your mobile phone for no money. You know, just have your friends, just film strangers in the street. You know, there's always interesting stuff happening in the streets, especially in a place like Manchester. You know, it's full of characters. Yeah, just make a film like that. And create your own style. You know, fuck what teachers say. You know, you should be out they should be out there doing it. Same with critics. You know, I've got respect for critics who've made a film, but if they've never made a film, you know, it's like, come on, guys. You know, they put a lot of negative energy out there, and they shouldn't do that. Well, if you haven't tried it, anyway.
Yeah. Well, this was always my argument about Mark Kermode, how he became such a successful critic, never actually ever making a film.
Oh, he's just a gobshite, you know. Yeah, he's a good guy. He's good at being a gobshite, you know. It'll get you far in life.
This is a guy with an English degree who's never made a film in his life, but he has the authority whether someone's film career lives or dies. That is completely insane.
Yeah. Well, the filmmakers should have enough sense not to give a fuck what they think.
Like him say.
Yeah, and critics are a dime a dozen. It's a dying breed, really. Anyway, criticism.
Breed, yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I had this argument the other day. It is getting the days of when critics were celebrities. Since it's died off. I mean, since Roger Ebert's...
Pauline Kael and all those 70s critics.
They've all died off.
Yeah, they're all dead.
Yeah, they're all dead. So you've pretty much got one or two guys still holding the internet, writing their blogs. And then obviously Mark Kermode, he's just I feel he's just a caricature of a critic. Yeah. And he knows, and as long as he can feed his children on spouting so much bile about a subject matter, I don't really think he knows that much about, because unless you've been to film school and understand what are the drivers of that filmmaker and what's his influences or her influences, there's very little you can really go into in order to critique it. Yeah. Whereas if someone like I don't know, Scorsese is critiquing me, that's completely different.
Yeah,
because
you know what I mean?
He's got a whole load of history behind him. He's got a whole load of knowledge. So his critique in my work is far more, would mean far more to me.
It's got substance.
How far more substance? I take more of it on board than some guy's got an English degree from Manchester Uni.
Yeah, he's just a frustrated musician, isn't he?
Well, yeah, he is,
you know,
he's in a few dodgy bands, and he's written a few books about comics and film. Yeah. And that makes him an authority on film. I don't think so.
Fuck that. No, that's nothing. Yeah, it's up to the filmmakers to kind of follow their own path. I mean, I've started to do the whole. It's a shame about Bowie that he's just died. But I've always been such a fan of the whole Ziggy Stardust alter ego, and I've kind of done that as a filmmaker. Like, why should musicians only be the only ones to come up with alter ego? So I've come up with an alter ego called Jet Hollywood, who's Ziggy Stardust's illegitimate son. So that's the storyline, yeah. And he's got two films, same as his dad, Ziggy. You know, he had 5 years. This guy's got 2 films that he can make before, you know, he commits cinema suicide as opposed to rock and roll suicide. So, yeah.
Marianne Faithfull.
Oh, if only. Yeah, it's a singing nun. Oh, yeah, she's like Nico, you know. She kind of falls into that hole. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's the last of a dying breed.
Oh, yeah. I love those types of women, though. You know,
they were, like I said, they were just real, and they were just themselves, and they didn't really care what anybody else thought. And hopefully film's going that way, where you're getting filmmakers who don't particularly care what the critiques are going to say about their work. And
completely. I mean, I've had some people get in contact with me where I refuse to sell them my film because I know they don't know what they're talking about, and they don't understand the film. They just want to feed off like the whole, I don't know, like the buzz that goes around, you know, what I've been talking about, and the Pink 8 manifesto. You know, they want to get the film, and they don't give a fuck about the film. You know, they end up burying it. So I'm waiting it out, and you know, my family can do what they want with it when I'm dead. You know, for all I care. You know, so I'm glad to keep the films for free at the moment. Yeah. You know,
as long as you've got an audience and they appreciate what you're doing, and I think I know that in Manchester, I definitely appreciate underground cinema and new cinema, because they're not getting any of it at the moment. They are literally getting spoon-fed commercial. commercial fodder, and there is a need.
Oh yeah, I mean Manchester's got such a history of going for it.
I have actually been to London a few times to go to indie film nights, and as much as I do like what some of them are doing, like the Badlands guys, where there's just a plethora of film nights where we're just showing Bad Santa and Blade Runner and Aliens 1, 2 and 3, and it just gets quite boring when we realise these are cult films, but can you please obviously Bad Santa's not
I love Bad Santa. I can't wait for the second one to come out actually.
But the really obvious cult films, 2001 Out Space Odyssey, and and it's like we agree that these are possibly cult films, but what about all the new cult films that are coming through by new
that's the
filmmakers?
thing. Yeah, I mean that's
why
the
aren't
thing.
they getting showcased and why aren't they getting screened? I know it's all about bums on seats, and you want to make your money, and you want to, and I think unfortunately in London it does come down to money.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So they will constantly show very commercial stuff.
Yeah, it's a cop-out, isn't it, really?
They know it's got a history, they know it's got a following, they know it's got a cult following. So yeah, we'll show it. It's a cult film, but it's a well-known cult film.
Yeah,
So they'll show it Tootsie or whatever. They'll keep showing it because they know it'll get bums on seats. And I just think it's a bit lazy.
Yeah.
When there's filmmakers out there who are making good stuff, and you're not even if you double bill it, put a big, well-known film on
afterwards, and
then show the independent film first or second or whatever. But why don't you opt for that?
Yeah,
that space.
I agree. I mean, there's a couple of organisations. I mean, Scalarama, they did that whole thing around the country, but it's only once a year, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what's it called? Exploding Cinema. They're fantastic, because they'll show anything that you send them.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's all short films, So as you said, short feature films need to be exposed a lot more to young people.
Because we've got quite a few guys in Manchester that are doing sort of like feature length, like 1 hour, 20-minute films and stuff, and they basically just want to get them seen. Yeah. And there isn't anywhere.
Yeah, I mean you can do all that online. I mean that's what I do. You just promote the shit out of it online, but it's a full-time job almost spending time doing that.
I think seeing it online and seeing it on a screen is completely different.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, you have a full-on experience when you're in the cinema.
Yeah, and that's what I think a lot of them want that as well. They want that opportunity to show it as an event where more than one or two people, more than just the mates can see it, but then a larger audience. Yeah, I
mean nothing's changed really. I mean Eraserhead, that had problems getting into cinemas and Pink Flamingos and things like that, so nothing's really changed. But that kind of what makes it fun in a way to be a cult filmmaker.
He's turned 17, he's still making films, so obviously he didn't do anything wrong. You know? So he's Razorhead and Pink and Blue Velvet and all those other ones that he did were amazing films. But and obviously John Waters with Pink Flamingo, and the whole Divine thing that he brought forward, where his was just like, I'm going to get this transgender male and I'm going to make him a superstar. Yeah. And it was the way in which he went about it, and the fact that Divine did become this celebrity. Yeah.
It's
the
easy.
Most surreal celebrity. Yeah. But it was all done via the underground, and I think that's what's missing now.
Yeah. No. It's still happening. You just have to. It's a recipe, and it depends. Yeah, I've found celebrities. I've found street superstars. I find them all the time. You got King of Inkland in Birmingham. Yeah. These are just people that I've met, and Earth Angel down in Clacton, which is the documentary Evolution of the Earth Angel, and he's a superstar, but he's not a celebrity, but he makes people feel good. He doesn't make any money off it either, but he's doing something different, and he's got as much charisma as like Tom Cruise or anyone, even more than on screen. Yeah, but he's a these are loose cannons. You can't control people like that. They're bound to say anything.
Well, that's the scary thing. Is that you are a bit of a loose cannon. Nobody will touch you.
Well, that's okay. I don't want anyone to touch me. That's the whole point. Stay away from me. If you like my work, great. So it gets rid of a lot of the bullshit. Yeah. When you're straightforward like that, because there's so many snakes out there in the mainstream film industry, as we've just been talking about. Yeah. So they can stay away. And it's up to you if you want to play the game. I don't want to play the game. I'd give it away. But most people do.
Because it's as as the industry sort of like fractures, as it is, as we've seen today with the news about all the guys boycotting the Oscars because of issues due to well, race and race and gender, which was inevitable because things aren't going to change any day soon. Because unfortunately, the awards culture is about slapping your mates on the back.
Yeah.
And if your mates happen to be middle class and Caucasian, or upper class, sorry, and Caucasian, and own half of Hollywood, you're going to slap them on the back, and then you're going to get rid of everybody. You're going to push everybody else to the side.
Well, that's 2 years in a row that they've had nothing but white, nominees.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, it's...
They ignored the Selma, completely ignored Selma last year, which was bizarre because it was winning awards hand over fist everywhere else, and it got ignored for Best Director. It got ignored for Best Script. It got ignored for Best Actor. Yeah. It got ignored for production. The script was the only original script last year because they couldn't use any of Malcolm X's text. So it should have won.
Yeah, it should have been.
It should have won for Best Script easily, but it didn't. And it should have won for Best Actor. It didn't.
They always pick unimportant films.
But they do. They just pick unimportant, and that's why Eddie Redmayne's nominated again this year.
Yeah.
It's just like, how can you justify this Etonian constantly getting nominated? It's not his fault he's an Etonian. It's not his fault he's come from privilege, but it is
because transgenderism has been in the news. So it's kind of how you win an Oscar. You got to scream the right way and cry the right way.
Well, you just pick a subject matter that's relevant, and then you make sure you come from the correct social class.
I don't like that. I like that.
You get an Oscar. It's a bit sad.
Oh yeah. No, the stuff I deal with, like, I don't know. Like the next film I want to do is about a serial killer who's on a road trip and he's into Satanism and that type of stuff. I mean, stuff like that will never win an Oscar.
Oh no. What's the guy who does all that kind of stuff? Is it Rad? Is it John Rad?
I don't know. Is he a new guy?
No, from the 70s. He does stuff like Dangerous Man and stuff like that.
Oh,
his stuff's completely off the wall. Yeah. But he never, ever got any money to make his films.
That's cooler though, isn't it?
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. That's what I mean. It's this John Rad geezer. He literally earned his money, made his films. Earned the money, made the films. Because his films were completely out there. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And there wasn't any. There was no real. He wasn't looking to get any strong contacts. He wasn't looking to say awards. He wasn't looking towards getting distribution because he's self-distributed. You know, it was the original guerrilla filmmaker, self-distributing everything. But he still got a massive following behind him. He still, his films were still popping up at the drive-ins. He was like a drive-in king, basically. And a lot of Japanese films from the late 80s, early 90s were constantly ripping off his style. The super sadistic style.
I'm more interested in that. I'm more interested in being ripped off.
Yeah, and they were constantly ripping off his style. Because, and the thing is, I'm sure when he was making his films, everyone who's going to really care about these? And I'm sure everybody mocked him, and who's going to care about these kind of films? And then obviously, 10 years down the line, people were ripping off his stuff, and as much as Tarantino will say he's on an original thought of Tarantino. I hate using his name as a reference, but I'm sure he'd have looked at John Rad's films when he's done his exploitation stuff and gone, I'll take that. No one's heard of him. I'll take that. Yeah, because those type of filmmakers, you never heard of him. Very few people heard of him, but he's one of those people who your film nerds will have heard of him, and they'll just take.
Oh yeah, that's what genius is, though, isn't it? I'm not really a religious person. I'm a collectivist. I take a bit of everything. I'll take a bit of Buddhism, a bit of Catholic, whatever, all sorts of things. You just shove it all together like Play-Doh and just see what comes out. That's the best way to be. That's the way of the 21st century. Just take everything and mix it all together, and something new will come out of it. I don't really believe these people who say they've invented a brand new thing, because it's bullshit. Everyone gets their influences from somewhere and ideas.
I'd say in the last 50 odd years, nothing's really original anymore. No, because you've all got taken ideas.
Yeah, it's all postmodern, But the vibes, I think like if all the subjects, if you pick a subject that that can be brand new.
Yeah, of course.
New subjects are always coming up, but the way you film it, it's all been done, really, hasn't it?
The way you film, the way you shoot it, is being done. But if you can deconstruct the narrative and do it in a different way, in a way that no one else has done, that's still possible to do. That's still plausible to do.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but stylistically wise, a lot of stuff's already been done.
Yeah.
But it's how you implement that style to make it original to you.
Yeah, and you got technology on our side. I mean, technology. You got new cameras coming up all the time, so you get a different look. You know, and you can do all sorts to digital. You know, it's so easy to give it a brand new like a colour look and like stuff like that. But as far as like jump cuts and things like that, what are you gonna do? You know, I don't really care about stories. I kind of want to like capture real life and see, because real life you don't know what the hell's gonna happen. You know, just see what happens. You know, pick some interesting people. Press record and see what the hell happens, and you got a movie. You know?
Well, that's usually how it should be. But I do feel that, unfortunately, when people go to film school, they get tied into the mechanics of making a film.
Yeah.
Production costs, getting funding, getting the film actually bankrolled, i.e. funded.
Yeah.
So sponsorship. And all these other mechanics that go into making the film, and there's a lot of that business aspect.
Yeah, you don't need any of that anymore.
There's a lot of that business aspect that still goes in to, it's still imparted into a film student when they go to university or college. But they go away with and feel, I need to do something that's gonna sell.
Yeah, you don't need all that. People need to forget that.
I need a good idea that's gonna sell. And it's about trying to get rid of that mindset.
I mean, just take a bank loan out. You know, I mean, it doesn't take much to make a movie. You can, you know, with £1,000, you can make a movie.
Yeah,
you know, it depends what type of movie. If you want to make a character-based one where it doesn't have any 3D or explosions and stuff like that, you know, just take out a bank loan. It's as simple as that. You know, forget about the funding. I mean, funding's dead in this country anyway, which is a good thing in a way. You know, everyone says it's a bad thing. I think it's rejuvenation. You know, we're a lot better without those producers and things like that.
Makes you more inventive.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, that's just censorship. People don't realise that. Getting funding, they can censor your film. If you pay for it yourself, you can do whatever you want with it. You know, you don't have anyone to answer to.
It's getting it distributed afterwards.
So what? You know, there's been films that have been distributed that have been shot on what's his name? I can't remember the name of the movie at the moment.
Tangerine was shot on his iPhone.
Yeah, exactly right. Just shooting on an iPhone. It has to look. It's more the audio. If the audio's good, it doesn't matter how the visuals are, but if the audio's good, if it's all wind, you know, if there's wind everywhere, no one's going to show that in a cinema. You know, that's the problem with mobile phones. The microphones on it suck, you know. But yeah, you can attach something.
Yeah, you can actually attach microphones via the earpiece.
Oh yeah, you can do like clip-ons and lavaliers and all that type of stuff.
So you can do an auxiliary mic into an iPhone.
Oh yeah. I want to appeal to like someone who hasn't ever made a film. You know, complete amateurs. You know, that's who I want to appeal to. You know, I don't care about people that have studied and stuff like that. I want people that have never made a film to go out there and make a film and to completely destroy the whole film industry. You know, start it from scratch, where these £1,000 movies are the ones that are showing in the cinemas, as opposed to, you know, $50 million films. And
so what's your opinion on YouTube then?
Oh, YouTube's fantastic. You know, I think, as I said, it's great to get your film out there. Who knows who's going to see it? I send my films to Harmony Korine and you know, Gus Van Sant, people like that. You know, you can send it to the directors that you appreciate. You can show it to these people. You can target certain audiences that you want. It's so much easier now. You know, I can't wait to see what's going to happen in 20 years, 50 years.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. Film festivals. I'm putting a film festival called Straight Jacket, Guerrilla Film Festival, where people from all around the world submit their films. YouTube link, and you show that straight from the website online. So it's just online film festival.
Brilliant.
And then you get a whole international.
Isn't that sort of like reverting back to the whole idea of never leaving your bedroom to explore?
It does in a way. It's good and bad, you know. The bad thing is if you stay all the time in your bedroom, you know, and if you become isolated, you know, that's the bad side of technology. But if, you know, once in a while you want to see something, so what, you can watch a film online in your bedroom with loads of your friends, you know, you can invite people over as well. That's cool. I prefer to show my films at like happenings and like, you know, undercover film nights and under bridges and things. I've shown my films under bridges as well, you know, like hit and run type of showings and guerrilla style, you know, I'm for that.
Generator.
Yeah, it doesn't have to just be in a cinema. You can show it at a rave. I've shown my work at raves where people are, you know, bouncing to the music and looking at the images. And people need to go out there and create events, though. You know, just because it's all commercialized doesn't mean there's warehouses, empty warehouses that you can get for free. You know, you can get for free most of the time, but for very cheap, and just turn it into an event like they used to do. I mean, all the illegal raves and things like that. You know.
Yeah, like I said, that's all been dissipated. Because everything has become so corporatized that people fear doing.
Yeah, people are scared of being arrested. Yeah. That's kind of what it boils down to. And they shouldn't be. You know, they're not doing anything. You know, you can kill someone, you end up going to jail for like 6 or 8 years. I mean, how bad is it going to be for putting on an illegal event one night? You're going to get a slap on the wrist.
The fear, and that's what stops people from going out and actually doing anything remotely, sort of like what would be considered by Manchester City Council as subversive. Yeah,
but we can't think like that because we're going to turn into Russia otherwise. You know, that's what's going to happen. People can be scared to say what they think, which is already happening. You know, they shouldn't be scared to say what they think. You know, once it's out there, you know.
I should say Manchester, but it'd be like that in any other city.
Yeah, but you got the spirit. You got the, you know, you got the punk spirit. It's about, you know, just because they've lost it doesn't mean everyone's going to lose it. Exactly. I'm not losing it. You know, they can put any restrictions they want on me, and I'm not going to lose it. You know, I've had frigging footage confiscated by the police. It hasn't stopped me making films. You know, so I'm not going to let anyone stop me from doing what I want. And as I said, you know, this ain't communist Russia. You know, I could say what I want.
It's not communist Russia, but it's capitalist. It's capitalist Europe, and it's kind of like what's worse?
Well, that's why people should make films. You know, films are an escape from that, and making a film is an escape. Making a film is an incredible, like, it's such a journey you go through. You know, you're not the same person after you finish. After you finish each film, you're a complete different person. You know, depending on what the subject you want to go for, or the characters that you've got around you, how far you want to go out. You can lose your mind every time you make a film and start right back over again. That's what's so great. You know, that's why people should stop watching, because most people are watching these days, and start doing, you know, like before you're dead, because you're not around too long, you know. I survived a house fire, so I know what it's like to taste death, and I try to make every day count, you know, and people should do that as well. Life is so... it's very quick, and I just feel bad for all these immigrants that are coming over, and you don't know. I've been in a situation, I was kicked out of America, and I would have brought a lot of good to America, but I was kicked out. And I feel bad for all these immigrants that are over here. Some of them, God knows, they could be like the next friggin' Steven Spielberg or Stanley Kubrick for, you know, but they're being kicked out. So all these lazy English people who are complaining and saying ba 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 ba, you know, go out there and make something instead of complaining about it. There's no excuses anymore.
I mean, we can say that because we're doers. But we live in a culture where people don't think that way necessarily. They do kind of wait for them to be somehow directed as to what to do next. Yeah. Well,
I nurture people. I get people texting me because my phone number's around, and you can find me easily. And when they ask me questions, I just nurture them. I give them nurturing that their parents never gave them, or the friggin' teachers never gave them. And I give them the encouragement to go out there and do that, you know. And hopefully, by seeing these types of videos, you go out and make something yourself. That is possible. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing when I made, you know, I didn't know what the hell I was doing when I made my first film. Constant error, but that's you know, that's how you learn. There's no, you're not gonna get killed by it. You know, you're gonna become stronger.
Well, nothing kills you.
Yeah, you're gonna become stronger. You bet.
Well, it's an interesting one, because I think that as the world is going smaller and smaller. Full stop.
We're international now,
because of technology. It shrank considerably. What the question is, with the film industry as it is now, will that in some way inhibit? Will everything go to YouTube? Will everything goes to on demand, will everything go to online, will the whole cinema experience be completely dissipated?
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. That's completely what's going to happen. But I think it'll be really cheap to rent spaces and show movies in the real world. It's about getting in the real world. Flyer, there's ways to do it, advertise in newspapers, magazines, buy a newspaper article, and, there's ways to...
Like this whole dissipation of physical media.
Yeah.
Not just, because, like, few and few people read newspapers.
Yeah.
Few and few people read.
It's just getting people... But that's up to you. You have to sell... You have to sell... Everything's like soap, like what John Lennon said that, sell it like you're selling soap. Make your film now sound really excited, make your band sound really exciting, sell it to people, make people want to get out of their bedrooms, I think that's kind of the key of it, Just make it exciting.
Yeah. I mean, that's the main goal, is to make everything seem exciting. I mean, I know that's what I do with my posters, but there still is that underlying thing at the back of my mind that's saying, well, I would love to see more people going out and making films, because I'm happy to show them.
Yeah.
But there's still that reticence and reluctance to make films.
Yeah.
Because they'll sit and watch YouTube all day, and they'll go out and do a vlog, or they'll make vlogs.
Yeah.
But they won't actually go out and make a film.
Yeah, I know.
At the same time, it's taking to set yourself up to make that vlog, and set your room up and tidy up your room and set that camera in front of you. And then
it's so easy, isn't it?
Talk for 10 minutes about the guy, the haircut guy. I think his name is Lucas something.
Did he get like 2 million hits?
It was something like
Isn't that ridiculous?
1.5 million hits for the haircut, where he just shaved his head off to same to what I've got.
Yeah.
just had a buzz cut.
Yeah.
How to buzz cut it was.
The more mundane it is, the more hits it gets.
And that's what I was kind of like unusual. I found very unusual. It's like the really interesting stuff was getting like 200 hits.
Yeah.
But the really mundane stuff about buying a cat or cutting your hair or growing your beard, 1 million hits, 500,000 hits, completely bizarre.
Yeah.
I was at a loss as to...
Scary, isn't it?
That's scary, and that's what I'm saying. That's why my worry about YouTube is, because it's all right doing amazing content and put it on YouTube, but if people are more interested in watching some guy cut his hair, as opposed to watching someone who's saying something about the society we're living in today and the social struggles we're going through today, and it's like, there's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, YouTube is a planet. Twitter is a planet.
Yeah.
They're living on this planet. Facebook is a new planet. That's kind of where we're going.
Yeah.
The real world is going to be, nothing there. It's going to be a ghost town if people carry on like that. But it might not. Who knows? It depends if you want to plug into the internet and kind of spend your life in 3D land.
Well, like I said, I'm hoping not.
You just have to promise people sex, like the music industry and the cinema industry. You used to hear about all these great cocaine parties, loads of free love and sex everywhere. You don't hear about that in the cinema industry anymore. Where's the fun? I bring back the fun in cinema. Like, get out there and get laid and, have a fucking great night. That's what I want at my film screenings.
Isn't that somehow kind of like, they'll see that as regressive? They'll see that
having fun.
Well, yeah. I know it sounds ridiculous, but unfortunately, because of the way society's gone, even though everyone's growing up quicker, there's certain aspects of growing
people are
up.
becoming boring.
People are becoming very boring. So they're almost like,
sucks to be them.
They're missing that part in that stage in their development where they should just go out and enjoy themselves.
Don't you think that's just a certain section of society? They're just the old-fashioned section of society, really. I mean, you see all these raves in Ibiza, and you've been to Ibiza. Ibiza's full of young people that are out there living. It's just certain sections of society.
Ibiza's kind of corporatized clubbing, though.
Oh yeah,
club. You go into a club and you're paying £15 for a bottle of water. And I mean, I know that the last time I went to Ibiza, which is a few years back now. But the type of people I met, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The thought of drowning them
came
to mind, because they're the worst kind of money obsessed, label obsessed idiots that I would have the misfortunes of sharing too much with.
Yeah.
So
it's intellectual people's fault. Intellectual people have forgot how to have fun. I think a lot of them.
That's the problem.
You know,
the literati, should we say, have started to take themselves way too seriously.
That's the problem.
They've forgotten how to engage with others, so they only want to engage with each other.
Yeah, you can't be like that. You can't be a snob. You know, like take the work seriously, but don't take yourself seriously.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, it's just an adventure. This life is just a game, really. You know, if you miss out on it, it's your own fault. You know.
Well, it's how do you but like I was going back to what I was going to say, it's how do you kind of impart that sense of fun?
By promising people sex.
Well, you can't just be about sex. There's got to be something else there. There's got to be something else. You can't just promise people sex.
Sex and I don't know, like alternative lifestyles. I always find those really, you know, gravitating towards. Like, I don't know, you just have to create a world around your work, you know, and just encourage people to get out there. I mean, it's not really like rocket science, really. It's just to package your work in a sexy way and kind of get it out there. You know, I mean, you can't force someone to do it, can you? I think I don't know. I think you're either born with it or you're not. And it's as simple as, you know. And if you are born with it and you realise that you got it, get out there as soon as possible before you lose, you know, your youth and your energy. You know, that type of thing.
Well, sometimes you don't necessarily lose your energy. I think you just can't.
What, your will to live?
just the will to live. You just, I think it's a case of other people's lethargy and it starts to drag you down.
Yeah. I don't let any of that touch me. You know, you just wash it off. You know, just wash it off. Don't let any stress get to you. Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about. You know, by doing like LSD and stuff like that, you kind of start to see the spiritual side of life, and you know, to kind of like package your life in a certain way. You know, and to not let other people's negativity get you down, and you know, let your energy kind of like make you travel.
Well, that's what going back to that. That's what I'm saying is more important than sex with creativity.
Travel's a good one as well. Get out your room.
Travel is a good one. Get out of your room. Engage with others.
Yeah.
That's what makes good art. That's what makes good. That's what infuses you with creativity. What makes you want to create more is actually engaging with others. Whether it's just sitting down and talking to people.
Get out of your comfort zone.
You know, speak to strangers.
Of course.
If you can. I mean, I know that in certain cities now, people fear talking to people they don't know. They think they're going to mug them or whatever else they think it might do. But it is about separating yourself from your comfort zone, of not being around people.
Yeah, and that's the Pink 8 manifesto right there. Yeah. I mean, it says it in the manifesto. Go out there, meet strangers, get a job that you've never done before. Get yourself out of your comfort zone. I did nude life modelling. I've never done nude life modelling. I did that just to kind of get into this new character and just to, you know, experience nudism and see what it's like and that type of thing. You know, there's ways out there. You can't push people though, but...
That's what I'm saying. You shouldn't push anybody, but you should allow them to come upon it on their own.
Oh, yeah. And it's cool showing people, you know. I mean, that's what I like as a filmmaker, you know. You show people these ways of like, I'm going to go to Hungary in March. I mean, I'm going to travel from Hungary to Austria and make a film like that, you know. See what happens there. You know, I'm going to be all
experienced Hungarian culture before, so you're familiar with it.
Oh yeah. I travel most of the time just to get inspiration. It's about following your muse. You know, if you can't find your muse in your bedroom, get out there and meet someone. You know, meet a brand new character and just, I don't know, just feed off their energy and learn from them. Learn from their energy. You know. Yeah. It's I don't know. It's the easiest thing to do, but just taking those first steps is the tough part. I mean, I've traveled my whole life. I was born in England. I've lived in Italy. I've lived in America. So I've never gotten comfortable to a certain society or mindset, and it's just stuck with me. So if people get into this and run with it, you know, it's going to open up a lot of windows and doors, and your whole life will change, and you'll become really inspiring, and you know, you'll have a strong, especially if you, I mean, I'm talking about people that want to create here, you know. You know, if you want to create, just create. You know, you can make anything. Make a film about your parents, about their fucked up marriage or something like that, you know. So many subjects out there. You'll change someone's life as well.
Well, obviously it will, yeah, because you just have to look at some of the filmmakers out there who've done Abrahams, whose film Room is getting a lot of buzz. You know, he's always done very intimate pieces,
poetic pieces,
very poetic.
Oh God,
you know, we talk about Richard. What Richard did was his first film, which was an amazing film because it was so subtle.
Yeah,
and I like that he's not looked around and looked at what everybody else is doing, who's of his generation. He's just gone, no, I want to actually look at people, and I want to examine people.
Yeah,
and I want to do character studies,
self-examination. You know, all that.
Exactly, and and I think hopefully, as much as I despise the Oscars, if he does get something out of the Oscars this year, I think it will definitely, for young filmmakers, it will shift.
Yeah.
If they see this young director getting an award.
It's the easiest thing in the world. Just
get
up, get the idea sorted out and go out there and make it. And make it fast as well. Don't sit on it, because then you start to get, you get paranoid and you start to question yourself, all that sort of stuff. Don't worry about that. It's always a lot worse than you think it actually is. When you do it, it's like a piece of cake,
The idea of talking yourself out of the idea before we even started it.
That's like a sport now, isn't it?
It is,
Paranoia.
Well, exactly. You can sit there and go, no, actually, I won't do it. And unfortunately, I have met many a young filmmaker who they've started something and then you go, are you still doing it? Oh, no, I don't know. There was this wrong and there was that wrong. And then it's constantly finding flaws. But sometimes you just have to ignore the flaws.
Yeah, you have to be a bit of a bastard, You can't let people walk over you. And, this whole thing of recently everyone's always nice all the time and political correctness, that's okay to a certain extent. But come on, Donald Trump is coming along right now, and that's how I think he's doing it old school. Though I agree with a lot of things Donald Trump says. People have become so wishy-washy, and I'm scared to say the wrong thing in case I offend someone. What? People can't take an opinion anymore?
But some of his opinions are extreme opinions.
Oh yeah. Some of his opinions are completely wrong. But I like his attitude.
You've got to remember, he's in the same vein as Ford and Lumbergh and all those type of.
I don't know. He owns the Miss America pageant. He can't be that bad.
So he's kind of like, he's kind of like in that kind of like wishy-washy area. When he's coming out with.
He's a businessman.
He's a businessman because 4 years ago he was a Democrat. Now he's a Republican. Yeah. And so it's kind of hard to trust somebody who just goes wherever the tide takes them. And I think, obviously, I can see where you're going with someone who's straight talking.
Yeah, I want someone straightforward as a politician.
How straightforward is he? Because his views have shifted from left to right and from right to left for the last 20 years. He's gone from Republican to Democrat to Democrat to Republican.
I don't know. I kind of look
back to Obama, and now he's you've kind of got to.
I look at that as being flexible, though. I mean, I agree with what the Democrats say, and I agree with what the Republicans say. Yeah. I like the fact that Republicans don't believe in giving handouts, free handouts. Why should you give someone something for free when they haven't earned it? You have to earn things in life. You can't expect things like the whole problem with this country is everyone's on the dole. When they got nothing wrong with them physically, they're just lazy. People need a kick up the ass, and to go. I'm telling you, democracy's got its nice aspect, but it's a very lazy aspects to it as well, which the Republicans, it can fix that.
I don't know.
I'm a bit of both. I can't call myself a Democrat or Republican. Sink or swim, though. I mean, it's a different mentality to Europe.
And it is. So, personality-wise, you're an American kid. He's far more aggressively ambitious than a European kid. Yeah. Because he's got everything to lose if he fails or she fails.
Yeah. You have to be hungry. You know how many times I didn't eat when I was a kid? I've got 8 people in my family. I'm the oldest of 6 kids. We had a lot of times where we didn't eat. And stuff like that really gives you a backbone, and you become like a wall. You can take anything. When you're hungry and stuff like that. People got it too easy. I've got no sympathy for people that are lazy. Fair enough. If you're lazy, be lazy. That's cool. I don't mind. Yeah. But it's people who've got excuses. There's no excuses anymore. Everything's for the taking, really, these days. Yeah. It's so easy because this whole political correctness thing has made everyone shrink back. Yeah. So if you want something these days and you're willing to want it. You just take it. And there's nothing bad with that.
Basically, what you're saying is there's a fear of ambition.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, confidence. If you call someone confident, it's got this like negative connotation to it.
Yeah,
it's just it gets labelled as being narcissistic when it isn't. Confident is when you know what you want in life, you got a plan, and you're gonna go for it no matter what. Those are the artists that I like. If you don't have a camera, steal a camera. Steal a camera from the university. Do that.
Oh well, I can't really say that would be a good route to take.
I'll say it. But if you're not happy with the university, if you're not happy with their service because they work for you,
Yeah, but obviously we can't advocate theft on this. Well, I see what you're saying, but
yeah,
I mean,
it depends how much ambition you've got. If you really want to do it, do it.
Yeah, if you're gonna go and do it, get out and do it. But there's always going to be that argument as to how far you take something.
Oh yeah.
And I think what I've noticed, especially a lot of my American siblings who were born over there, there is a completely different mindset.
Yeah,
there is an aggressive need to be successful.
Yeah, just take it. Don't commit bank robbery. Don't do anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. But if you want it, go for it.
Yeah.